All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. If you would, please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Riska. Can we please have the roll call?
Mayor Taylor?
Here.
Mrs. Sarowski?
Here.
Mr. Myjack?
Here.
Mr. Radke?
Here.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Yanez?
Here.
Mrs. Yarko?
Present.
Thank you, Council. We need approval of the agenda.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
move to approve the agenda. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item on our agenda tonight is report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to begin summarizing the many events that we have planned for Black History Month, which, as everyone knows, is throughout the month of February. First, the African American Coalition is coordinating a display in the library lobby, so you can look forward to that all month long. And we'll be lighting the halo on M59 with red, yellow, green, black on February 7th and 8th. We'll have a lot of social media surrounding that as well. King Richard will be played for the library's morning movie on February 5th at 10 a.m. Adult, youth, and teen book displays will be available throughout the month in the library, of course. And this has turned out to be a highly successful event. The African American Coalition will host the third annual Black History Month dinner on February 23rd from 6 to 8 at the community center. And tickets are available on our website. The program is always excellent. The turnout is great, and the food is outstanding as well. Also, a library program titled Myth of the Model City will be on February 24th at 6 p.m. with a presentation by William Wall Winkle of the Detroit Historical Society examining the causes and events of the 1967 uprising in Detroit. A very volatile time, and I think residents will find that history very interesting and useful. And then lastly, there'll be a story time on February 7th at 10 a.m. When You Kiss a Butterfly, reading by the book's author, Tashira Herndon. Miss Herndon is a renowned Black writer, poet, author, and illustrator from Ypsilanti, so right here in the metro area, who has published numerous empowerment books and children's books. So she will be here in person at our library on February 7th at 10 a.m., and kids are going to love that program. So please go to our website if you'd like more information on all the events during Black History Month. And also, I wanted to let everyone know that the Sterling Heights Parks and Recreation Department is looking for trailblazers to join their team. We have an outstanding Parks and Recreation team. It takes a lot of seasonal and part-time employees and full-time employees to run all the events that they have throughout the year. So this Thursday, February 5th, the Parks and Recreation Department is hosting a hiring fair from 3 to 6 p.m. at the community center. So those of you who are interested in working in the Parks and Recreation Department, being a part of that amazing team, working with all of the events that we have throughout the year, you may be interested in attending the fair. Again, that's this Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at the community center. And I wanted to also remind folks, this may not sound that exciting. It is really important. As you know, the city is working on updating its master plan. We expect, I should say, our zoning ordinance, which follows the master plan we just completed. So the zoning ordinance is the vehicle that allows us to activate, if you will, the master plan, all the initiatives and ideas set forth in our land use master plan. So the zoning ordinance will be rewritten. We haven't done this in 50 plus years, so it's really important. We'll be kicking this off next Tuesday, a week from today, again at the community center. We'll have a joint meeting with our mayor and city council and also the planning commission and the zoning board of appeals to kind of set the stage for all that's going to be happening over the next year. So if you're interested, please tune in. It'll be televised live. It'll be taking place again on the 10th, beginning at 7 p.m. at the community center. And Mayor, I'd like to draw everyone's attention to the screen in front of you. This information was published in the Detroit News today. It comes from the U.S. Census. I reported on this last year. I believe it was back in August. I wanted to show this data because I think it's really important and helps to illustrate the prosperity underway in the city of Sterling Heights. And that is our ranking in terms of household median income. Now, there's hundreds of cities across Michigan, 500 or so cities all across Michigan. And this story focused on the top 10 median income communities throughout the state. And you can see where Sterling Heights ranks close to the middle of the pack in the top 10. I emphasize the top 10 statewide. So we're in good company here with Rochester Hills, Troy, Novi, Farmington Hills, Royal Oak, Livonia, and Sterling Heights. And just behind Sterling Heights is Ann Arbor. And I mention this because it is a measure of the prosperity agenda, if you will, that we've been talking about for years through our Visioning 2030 plans, our Visioning 2040 plan now, which is active, believe it or not, in another 7 years or so, we'll be working on Visioning 2050. But these are all plans that have set the course, set the city on a course of prosperity. And related to income, of course, is home values. You've heard me talk about these slides in the past. I mean, this is our ranking of property values across the state of Michigan, and in this particular slide, Macomb County. And you can see that we rank number 1 in terms of our strong property values. Now, that's really important because homes are often an individual's largest investment or asset, if you will. And to rank number 1, I think is most commendable. And it's kind of interrelated. There's a correlation to median family income as well. Now, this is in Macomb County. When you look across the state in terms of property values, we rank in the top 5 statewide. Here again with Troy and Ann Arbor and Grand Rapids in the city of Detroit. And Detroit, as you know, is one of the largest cities geographically, not in terms of population, but with 140 or so square miles, it's geographically one of the largest in the country. So I bring this up because there's a number of reasons for these very positive rankings, especially as it relates to median family income, and that's our plentiful high-tech manufacturing jobs in the city of Sterling Heights. Whether it's Ford Motor Company, Stellantis, BAE, General Dynamics, or the numerous defense and auto suppliers that go along with them, and also the very smaller companies as well. This is what generates jobs. This is what generates prosperity in the city of Sterling Heights. And it results in a very robust local economy. There's no doubt that that's the case here in Sterling Heights. We have a great housing stock and a very high quality of life. So people want to live in Sterling Heights. That too is attributing to this prosperity. Others, individuals from other areas of the state with higher median family income come to Sterling Heights because of our reasonable housing, our strong housing stock, and also our quality of life. So this also is an indicator of this city's very successful economic development efforts and our Look No Further campaign and so on. It's all generating these very positive metrics, if you will. So I'll keep reporting on them because they're important, it's kind of fun, and it does validate prosperity. And I did want to mention a housekeeping item. City offices will be closed for business on Monday, February 16th. So that's in a couple of weeks for President's Day, which is also an employee in-service training day. So while we're closed to the public, our employees are here for training. So please take note of this. It will not affect refuse collection in the city. So with that, that concludes my report, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. Next item on our agenda tonight is the consent agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on any item on the consent agenda? Seeing none, council, we need a
Mayor,
motion?
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
move to approve the consent agenda. Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item on our agenda tonight is a consideration item, and this is to consider a resolution to establish a moratorium on the establishment, erection, or construction of data centers for a period of 12 months within the city. We do have a presentation from our city planner, Dr. Jake Parcell. Dr. Parcell.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor, members of council, Mr. Vanderpool, Mr. Koszybski. So we're here this evening, I should hit present, to discuss data centers, not an application or a zoning ordinance amendment for it, but a moratorium. So if you're not familiar, moratorium prohibits us from accepting, thank you, prohibits us from accepting applications, reviewing them, bringing them forward for approving bodies, establishing, erecting them, or receiving the permits to approve them. So for some background, data centers, relatively hot button topic in the news lately because they're changing very rapidly. So data centers are a physical facility like the one you'll see in the image here, which is kind of like a warehouse that houses IT servers, storage, and networks. They're crucial and have been for a long time for storing, processing, and distributing data for applications. With the increase in cloud-based services and artificial intelligence rapidly changing before our eyes. So recently, there have been an evolution in these private on-premise spaces to large-scale facilities that support increased digital services, help drive the modern economy, and see massive growth fueled by AI. What has brought this to our attention in the research that we've been doing in surrounding communities are proposals that we're seeing around the city. So these are some significant proposals that you may have seen recently around us or throughout the state. If you'll notice the size requirement on a lot of these, 280 acres, 1,000 plus acres, 575, 172. These are not facilities, these hyperscale facilities that will be coming to Sterling Heights. Quite simply, we just don't have the space. All of those are bigger than the footprint of the Lakeside Mall site. But what we do have are industrial parcels that may be utilized for smaller scale data centers. Allen Park, Southfield more recently have smaller, less than to around a couple 100,000 square feet facilities that have been proposed and brought in. And what we want to do is be prepared in case we get an application for this. So right now, and the reason we're asking for this moratorium is data centers are currently permitted in 5 of our zoning districts. These are not what we've discussed, these hyperscale facilities. These have been written into the ordinance since it was adopted in 1978. So they weren't really probably realistically considering artificial intelligence at that time. But the way and the nature that our ordinance is written, they're permitted by right in M2, which then trickles down to M1, which also includes our technical research office district, our OR, which is our office research district, and our O3 high-rise office commercial service district. Probably and most likely when this was written in 1978, this includes just the storage of computer facilities and data processing equipment on a small scale. But they're called data centers. They're called processing and computer service centers, which are what we're seeing now in the news that are bringing in these hyperscale facilities. So what we want to do, particularly with the O districts you see up there, is bring in some standards that help meet these and help us regulate them, because those are directly next to residential. We want to make sure that we don't get applications for those, whereas the M1 and M2 districts may be more appropriate for it in the long term. So what we've presented so far and what we found in the research is that there's pros and cons to these. We don't want to rush an amendment forward that says We want to eliminate data centers from our zoning ordinance. We don't know what is considered a data center that exists in the city right now, but we want to look at what they can bring to the city if they are allowed. So they are businesses that create taxable value for the community. They can create large-scale investment. They can create jobs. They qualify for tax exemptions under the state law, which means they have to meet these qualifiers of $250 million of investment and 30 jobs being created. They also may support the other industrial manufacturing and tech users in our industrial corridor. Furthermore, the city has a lot of very strong sustainability goals, envisioning 2040 through our climate action plan and sustainability plan, and bringing in regulations such as closed-loop water systems, LEED certified building requirements. Bringing their own transformer can help us shield the cost of these for citizens, which is something that people are concerned about in the news. Also, Michigan has state legislation that requires data centers to pay direct costs for energy, which helps further stop the shift of cost to consumers. But through our research, we also find there are cons for these, which is something we would like to help regulate through our ordinance. Like we mentioned, there's no regulatory measure in place to help guide the development of these. We are aware that these large facilities can be a bit of a lightning rod, and we want to make sure that we're accounting for all of the impact that they have as they're developed. They can create a humming noise that could create a nuisance. So do we want to bring in things like additional screening, more vegetation, more planting, things that help buffer that from adjacent residential, if there is any, or keep it further away from residential, which it is not currently. We also want to make sure that we are understanding fully the jobs that are being created here and the demand of water and electricity around these uses, because it's a bit of an uncertainty right now based on the different size of the center. So while I mentioned it's not likely that we get a proposal for a 230-acre data center, it's very possible that we get one for a much smaller one. And while we would like to see investment in our industrial corridor always, we want to make sure it's being done in a smart and sensible way, which is where this would benefit from the moratorium, because we'll have time to do further research and draft an ordinance. We're proposing 12 months because that lines up very well with our overall ordinance amendment. Moratorium may be lifted earlier should that overall ordinance rewrite be completed. But this way we can plug it in along with everything else in our ordinance and make it a seamless transition, and then follow the will of council for what direction we want to take after research is presented to you. With that, I'm open for questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Parcell. I'll open up to the audience. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor,
Mrs. Zarko.
resolve to adopt the resolution to establish a moratorium on the establishment, erection, or construction of data centers for a period of 12 months within the city.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Zarko?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Taylor. It's just, I have some statements. I really don't think I have questions. I might have one for you. I think the news has brought the data centers and the opposition to them to our attention. And we are talking about bigger parcels, bigger centers. But I know that traveling during the holidays, there were two cities that I went through that were having the same issue, and they were in northern Ohio. And some of the opposition was they were going into historic districts. So that was something that, I thought about, and it became a discussion, actually, it was family members who lived in that area. So I thought I didn't understand a lot about anything about data centers, but I did know that it might affect us someday, and we might not have that parcel available today, but it doesn't mean that in the future, there might be some industry that goes out, whether it be one of our Ford plant or the Chrysler, and some of the acreage then would be available within the city. So I think that's what we need to do this was to make sure that we were preparing ourselves for the opportunity, because as you said, there are pros and cons to a data center. So, and I don't want anybody to think that this is a ban on them right now. It's just let's stop and make some plans so that in case the opportunity ever comes up, we're prepared for it. So that's why I'm in favor of this, and I'm glad that we're doing it this way. And as long as we're revising our zoning ordinance, now's the time to do it. So I think that's it. Nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Zarko. Mr. Radke.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I completely agree with Councilwoman Zarko. I think this is more preparation on our part. We are already redoing our zoning ordinance. This moratorium will align that process with this process. And the reason I think that it's important to write new regulations is because the original regulations that this pertains to were adopted in 1978, before I was born. And before computers were as powerful and as energy hungry and everything then as now. So right now, these are allowed by right. You can build them in any industrial district and in several different commercial districts by right. Right now, we're putting a stop to that, so we have smart regulations to protect our residents. We're not saying we're gonna put one in, but we have to have at least some regulation in place in case. So I think this is a smart decision, and I'm happy to support it. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Radke.
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs.
Thank you. I just have a couple of comments. So the original was written in 1978 when barely there were computers, first of all. And I'll date myself. A mainframe was the size of a very large room. Your mainframe computer, not the internet, because there really wasn't the internet. You had your phone that you put in the modem and it squelched until it connected to something. So that's so obsolete. And I think what we're doing here is taking the time, which there's nothing wrong, to get it right. Because it's hard to put Pandora back in the box. So I'm glad that we're taking a breath and doing this the right way. So I have nothing further.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Yes, I think you're going to hear probably the same assents and agreements, but I do want to, so thank you, Dr. Purcell, for really getting this together and helping us put this moratorium through. I think that it's extremely important to be on top of things, be prepared, and be forward-thinking, because sure, we can plan for what's current, but there still needs to be, there's a future out there that we really need to plan for as well. And, you know, as computers get smaller and smaller, the data centers may not need to be the 200-acre data centers to service as much as what they're currently servicing right now. And within that, what's the energy? I'm not too concerned. I see that it's been written and prepared that the data center itself will pay for their energy, but what's it going to do about draining our energy and taking our resources, because our grid can only produce so much at this time. Same with water. Certainly there's some water-cooled, self-contained cooled data centers, but that's not really the norm, so we would have a drain on our resources with water. Is it just circulating our water? Is it pulling water out of the system and we can't use it for a time? The rest of the residents and the rest of the city. So there's so many unknowns. EMFs. Certainly the noise pollution that was mentioned, any radiation coming from these things. We need the time to study it. We need the time to make sure that we're doing everything right and have the information so that if and when we do get anything proposed to us, we are able to make good decisions for the residents. And that's all I have, Mayor Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Council, anyone else? All right, I'll vote yes on this. I'm not overly concerned with data centers right now. I don't think we're a good candidate for them, but I don't see any reason why we shouldn't take the time to study it and make sure we have an ordinance that, that reflects the concerns that have been raised by people in other communities. So I agree with my colleagues' comments, and I'll leave it at that. So council, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item on our agenda tonight is to consider an appointment to the City of Sterling Heights Community Alliance. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mayor Taylor.
Mrs. Sarowski.
Resolve to appoint Jennifer Rizk, R-I-Z-K, to the Community Alliance to a term ending June 30, 2026, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in Charter subset 4.03 and taking the oath of office within 2 weeks.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion, Mrs. Sarowski?
Just very briefly, thank you. This young lady is very, she's been in the city well over 10 years. She has shown extreme interest with participating with the city, getting more involved. And, you know, it's nice to be able to appoint somebody who's very interested in making sure the city is better. So I have that's all I have to say. I'm happy to appoint her.
Okay, council, anyone else? No further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Move on to communications from citizens. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on any item not on tonight's agenda?
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vanderpool, City Council members. My name is Manny Gonzalez, and I've been asked by the Senior Center pickleball playing community to deliver a letter today that has been signed by over 75 Senior Center pickleball players. This letter was championed by a group of pickleball players and not by one person. Our letter addresses the upcoming operational policies being developed for the new pickleball complex. We have built a strong and supportive community through pickleball at the Senior Center, one filled with friendship, connections, and a shared love of the game. We bring these concerns to you because we want to ensure that senior voices are fully heard as operational decisions are being made for the new facility, a facility we are paying for. Many of us attended the pickleball facility listening session conducted last September. At that meeting, we were told operational concerns were outside the scope of discussion, so our concerns were not heard. Our primary concerns are simple. 1, dedicated playing times for seniors. 2, grouping senior players by ability, beginners, intermediate, advanced. Exactly what we have now at the Senior Center, but just carried over to the new complex. Again, a complex we are paying for. And the open play model discussed at that listening center will not meet those concerns. Open play may work for private clubs, but this is a city facility funded by us in part. If open play were acceptable to us, we would have joined a private club elsewhere. Instead, we chose the Senior Center because it provides a welcoming environment that matches our age, our skill levels, and strengthens our sense of community. We are not asking for special treatment, only fair access, a structure that allows us to continue playing safely, enjoyably, and with the appropriate staff oversight that ensures that these allocations are accepted. If these concerns are not acknowledged during the operational planning phase, we fear that they will never be acknowledged. If dedicated senior time is not built into the structure from the very beginning, it will not be added later, regardless of any double Dutch assurances that we are given. Once those facility doors open, meaningful changes will be far more difficult to implement. A small but telling example of this resistance to change is the current player sign-up board, a practical adjustment that would improve player safety, reduce congestion, and increase efficiency to the sign-up procedures. Yet, despite these clear benefits, this basic accommodation has not been implemented. So you see, we have no realistic expectations that any changes will be implemented at the new complex once those doors are open. We respectfully ask that our concerns be acknowledged before the operational plans are finalized and implemented. Doing so will show that Sterling Heights values its senior citizens. Finally, we respectfully request that the city keep us informed of any updates that may be available on the operational planning related to our concerns raised here tonight by the pickleball playing senior citizens of Sterling Heights. One side note, I was asked to say that non-residents don't like the drop-in fee schedule that they are hearing about. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Sincerely, the Pickleball Club.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else under communications from citizens? Thank you at the back, ma'am.
Oh, hang on,
Wait, we got two coming.
hang on.
You can come up.
Good evening. My name's Jennifer Tuttle. My husband and I own Kona Ice and Traveling Toms of Utica. Kona Ice is a gourmet mobile shaved ice company where kids get to make their own creation at our Flavor Wave. And Traveling Toms is a coffee shop on wheels, serving all your favorite hot, iced, and frozen coffees and much, much more. We wanted to come to the meeting tonight to first and foremost thank you all for your service. I was a public school teacher for 27 years, and my husband is a building inspector and building official in another local community. Public service is a rewarding profession, but it often goes unthanked. So we wanted to say thank you all for your endless hours that you dedicate toward improving our community. We also wanted to thank the staff at Sterling Heights. We have worked with the Community Relations and Parks and Rec departments for 3 years now. They are truly top-notch. The events are always well-planned and organized. Every interaction we have had with these departments has been well-communicated and extremely professional. You have some wonderful individuals who work in these departments. I wanted to tell you a little bit about our business to raise awareness and how the mobile food truck industry works and what sets us apart from others. We started our Kona Ice business 3 years ago and Traveling Tom's just this past March. Traveling Tom's is a sister company of Kona's. While we are a franchise, we are locally owned and operated. My husband and I both own both businesses, and our children, family, and friends all work for us. We are the true definition of a family-owned small business. Kona Ice and Traveling Tom's are a community-based business. What do I mean by that? Well, when food trucks become licensed, they are licensed to go anywhere in the state of Michigan. However, at Kona Ice or Traveling Tom's, we hand select the community that we want to service, and we are bound to service just these areas. We cannot move as freely throughout the state as independent food trucks can. You may see Kona Ice or Traveling Tom's in other counties, but that is a different franchise who is servicing their local community. I'm explaining this because when it comes time to select businesses for local events, please know that an independent food truck coming from another community can service anywhere. And it's most likely cherry picking the large events in the state so they can make more money on their bottom line. Whereas we are a local business that is truly trying to service its community well. Let me give you an example. The Parks and Recs team asked us to come to all the roller nights last summer. This is a great event because it's free to the community. We said sure and committed to coming to the whole season. We pay our fee to the city and we pay our staff for about 8 hours of time each night. While it's a very nice event for the community, it is often an event that we are lucky to make our payroll. That said, we still enjoy coming because we want to service our community well. We also know that our presence at the event helps to bring people to the event, which helps the community. We do these events in hopes to be selected for the larger events like the concerts in the park, ice skating, and Sterling Fest, so it all kind of balances out. I also wanted to mention that there is a common misconception that bricks and mortar businesses contribute more financially to the community than mobile food trucks. Therefore, some communities believe bricks and mortar businesses should be supported at community events more than mobile food trucks. While this might be true for some food truck businesses, I want to tell you a little more about how Kona Ice and Traveling Tom's of Utica contribute to the local community that we service. First of all, as you know, bricks and mortar businesses contribute by indirectly paying taxes through property taxes through their leases on their storefront. We too pay property taxes through the warehouses that we lease. We just don't have a storefront. Our truck is our storefront. So when we don't have placement for our storefront, we are simply closed as opposed to the bricks and mortar businesses. Taxes, though, are a very minor contribution. We fell in love with Kona Ice because of the motto, be good, do good, for good. Kona Ice has been in business for 20 years and has donated more than $200 million back to local communities nationwide because of this business model.
All right, ma'am, if you want to wrap up real quick.
Okay.
If there's more, you feel free to email that to us, and we'll be happy to read it.
Okay, I just wanted to say that last year, we've donated, and over the past 3 years, over $40,000 to the local community. Last year, we donated $23,015. Of that, $4,200 went to Sterling Heights, local organizations within Sterling Heights, including Stevenson High School and Margaret Black Elementary. So we just hope that you think when you see our trucks, that you remember that we are being good, doing good for the good of the community. And we look forward to serving you all with smiles this summer.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll take you next, ma'am.
More pickleball.
As you can tell, we've got many people here that are supporting this great thing that we have here in Sterling Heights. I have to, first of all, applaud all of you for the outstanding senior citizen group that we have here at the center. It's completely awesome. And it's so funny because my mother has grown up in this city like I have. And I finally got to her age where I can now be part of the senior center. And we, all of us, do not want to go against 20-year-olds. We're not built that way any longer. For an open play, for a 50, 60, 70-year-old to play against a 20-year-old, it's really unfair. And the thing that I worry about most is our seniors getting hurt or giving it up. That would be such a shame. This is a lot of time our only, form of exercise. And so I really stress upon you guys that we really would like the senior hours for us by skill level. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Oh,
ma'am.
and my name was Robin Ritchie, by the way.
Anyone else under communications from citizens? Mr. Brown?
Commissioner. Mr.
Hi,
Mayor,
Moore.
thank you, honorable body. Just want to say thank you on behalf of Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller for the continued partnership with our office to do good work for our mutual constituents, our citizens of Sterling Heights, and we look forward to continuing the relationship. And if there's anything you need, please call on us. We'll be there at a moment's notice. So thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Mr. Brown, thank you for being here tonight, and thank Public Works Commissioner Miller on our behalf. All right, we'll go pickleball on, pickleball off. I'll tell you what, though, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but my dad's 66, and he loves beating 20-year-olds in pickleball. So, but I get it, I understand.
Really,
Well, I guess
Yeah, he does.
the only thing that I wanted to add was, when we voted for the new pickleball complex, none of us had any idea that they were gonna not have an event at the senior center. No, it was never mentioned. It just says, oh, vote for this new pickleball center. And we thought, oh, well, that would be nice for other, younger people or the overflow. But we did not think, I think nobody at the senior center would have voted for it if we knew that. It did not say one would be closed when the other opened. So that was another big concern.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mary Rose Campbell. I didn't intend to come up here, but many of you I know, and I do support you. However, I will say, have you considered what other things the people who play pickleball do when they're at the senior center? They have lunch, they do their hour or two of pickleball, they do woodworking, they do stained glass, they play games, they go to other events there. Are they going to drive from the new facility back over there? Or are you going to give a shuttle to get them back to the senior center? Or are they going to say, I'm not going to go down there, I'm going to go to Troy or Shelby or Utica or Fraser for my senior citizens? Have you considered this if you close or alter the senior citizens pickleball at the center? It's there. And we're not talking 66 years old. We're talking people who are in this room who are in their 90s that like to play, who are 85, 75. And I'm not saying you're playing pickleball just to get a win. This is their facility. This is their exercise. This is their balance. This is their friendship, their commitment. This is their out for them. There's more at the senior center, going over to the library, going over to the community center. It's all right there. 15 in Van Dyke is not gonna cut it for everybody. Consider, please. And the other thing I heard, and I have no idea, are we hiring a new director for this facility that's going to be open, this pickleball? I've heard that we have to hire another director. What are we talking, another $50,000, $60,000? Is that being considered that we haven't been told about yet? Or am I just hearing rumor? There's too much rumor. You need to have a meeting and talk to these people. Okay? transparency. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Mr. Maffa, I'll take Mr. Maffa, I'll get you next.
Good evening, members of council, city manager, city attorney, city residents, and you watching at home. I'm Bob Maffa, and a resident of Sterling Heights for almost 50 years. That's 5 decades. My sister also lives here for 60 years. I have paid many, many thousands of dollars to Sterling Heights for taxes over the years to help build the city to what it is today. Through those years, I have accumulated many memories. I stand before you today to show my support for the Sterling Heights Police Department and for proactive policing and keeping our residents safe for over 50 years. We have the 4th largest city in Michigan and safest for many years. And I want to show you something. If whoever's doing the overhead can do that. Yes. The blue line in the middle, everybody knows that is supporting the police. And I feel it also supports the fire department and their efforts. And also all the residents in Sterling Heights, because we are the ones that made this city great. And we pay all the bills. And I just want to appreciate that and show you that. Also, well, I'll continue on. At the end of the last council meeting, January 20th, Mayor Taylor voiced his opinion for 22 minutes regarding law enforcement for the Sterling Heights Police Department and federal governments. All the previous mayors, council members in Sterling Heights, including Mayor Richard Noddy, that was here for 32 years, never said any of those negative words in front of our taxpayers' residents, criticizing our fine police department. Mayor, what were you thinking? I don't agree with you most of your statements. After a period of time, you may rethink what you said for 22 minutes and admit you were wrong and say you're sorry to our residents and police. Mr. Mayor, I don't know you well or think like you do. After a period of time, we sort of agreed to disagree. I want to pass something else out for, maybe we can go from this end.
You'll pass it on to everybody if you can.
All right.
Or you can just.
What this is the sheriff's office, Macomb County Sheriff's Office, patrols. They have authorization to patrol anywhere in Sterling Heights, but they're at Freedom Hill. They could be at Sterling Fest, because I think they said that they're out for hire if they need to go somewhere, or even a Polish festival. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that the Macomb County Sheriff has police on the force. They can write you a ticket. They can.
All right, thank you, Mr. Maffa.
Well, just let me finish here. I passed things out and I took some time.
Give yourself
You cut
10
me
or-
off
10
so
or
many
12 seconds.
times. So many times.
Finish up.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
I'm done.
Maffa. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
in case you forgot. I don't know how the camera focuses. Is it this way, or should I turn it the other way? Thank you. In case anybody did forget what this is, my name is Alicia, and I am the aunt and the mother of the kids that were abducted and kidnapped.
Would you mind addressing your comments to the city council, please? The plaque is not really on the screen if you want to adjust it.
But higher, there you go.
Good evening. I'm here today as a mother, an aunt, and a victim to an incident that happened in your precious and safe parks. One that was completely avoidable had the system set in place work together, and with that, I am deeply concerned by the idea presented by you, Mr. Mayor, as if stepping away from our cooperation with ICE is going to help solve the issues our country is facing. Sterling Heights has historically been a safe city until the past decade or so. I am grateful that our local law enforcement disagreed with your stance, and we stand in alliance with them. Because living through this, I have realized that collective cooperation and collaboration between all levels of government are essential. So that known threat are not slipping through the cracks, such as the man that kidnapped my niece and ran over my son. The system only works if the entire system works together. And that includes you, Mr. Mayor. This cooperation is not political, it is practical and preventative. Your forgetfulness and ignorance to this particular situation is a smack in the face to my family and your community, the ones who have been dealing with this firsthand. If you continue this rhetoric, you're going to need a lot more of those medals there because you're going to be continuing to delegate the jobs that you're elected to serve. What we are living through right now, a year and a half later, is the result of our systems failing to work together. The solution to that failure is not less cooperation. Don't make this worse. We need to work together now more than ever. Mr. Mayor, you are the spokesperson for this community, and that includes precious children. Those children who hesitate to play outside, a year and a half later, who don't like to get out of the car until they are met at the door with their precious hands being held. The ones who scream when they hear sudden noises, such as children laughing. And they huddle in close when strangers walk past the grocery aisles. It's hard enough to be a parent in today's day and age, so I respectfully ask, who does it help when agencies set in place within our system and elected officials stop working together? Who bears the cost when the dangerous gaps are created? We are. We, these children, the most vulnerable and innocent, precious next generation of leaders. My family and the community and one special councilman stand with our law enforcement. We stand with the men and women tasked with keeping our city safe. We are grateful for them doing their jobs, working with everyone they need to keep our children safe. We expect our leaders to be our voice. You were elected to be our voice. I even found it comical that the description on the Sterling Heights website pointed that out. This is bad policy you are trying to create. We expect every elected official to be our voice, support our local law enforcement with every lawful cooperative tool available, and yes, that means federal agents, for those who are here illegally and committing heinous crimes, especially when it comes to life felonies against our next generation leaders. This is not time to pick a side. You were elected for all of your constituents, not just those here illegally. It is not time to take the foot off the gas, rather time to double down. It is time to reinforce accountability, communication, and public safety across the board at all levels of government. Please choose unity over politics, coordination over division, and safety over symbolism. Leadership is not about distancing ourselves from hard realities and following the next trend. Leadership is about protecting the people who voted you in and that you serve before tragedy like ours strikes again. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else under communications from citizens? Yes, sir. Yep, public comment.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm a resident of Sterling Heights. I'm strictly speaking tonight as a private citizen. My family's roots in the city go back for generations. My great-grandfather lived here. My great-grandparents both lived here. My great-grandfather helped build a church in this city. My grandma worked on a farm in this community. My parents bought a house here, and I went to school here right around the corner. I want the city to remain safe. So I'm concerned about the messaging being sent regarding immigration and custom enforcement. ICE is a federal law enforcement agency created by Congress. It operates under statutory authority, judicial oversight, and constitutional limits. It is not acting outside of the Constitution, nor is it terrorizing this community. ICE targets people with violent and serious criminal history, including murder, child rape, and other violent offenses, not law-abiding immigrants who came here legally. These crimes don't happen abstractly, they don't happen just in headlines, but they happen to real people in real neighborhoods, and it could happen to this neighborhood. For example, in 2024, a nursing student named Lincoln Riley was murdered while jogging on a university campus. The man convicted of her murder was a Venezuelan national. He was in the United States illegally. You may think that example is extreme and couldn't happen here. What happens when something as simple as an illegal immigrant runs a stop sign, causes a car accident? He has no insurance for his car, he's got no health insurance, the taxpayer has to pay the bill. Lots of those taxpayers in this city, by the way, are immigrants who came here illegally. Some of those immigrants who came here legally in this community are some of the finest people in this community, and what a slap in the face it is to them that you would prioritize protecting illegals over those legal immigrants who waited years to come here and worked very hard to contribute to this community. When elected officials use sweeping language to delegitimize a lawfully acting federal law enforcement agency, it does not communicate safety, it fuels public outrage. Ultimately makes law enforcement's job harder. Immigration enforcement is a federal responsibility. The President of the United States, who was elected twice, sets national immigration policy, not the mayor. Local government does not outrank the President nor the federal system, nor should they undermine lawful federal enforcement through public condemnation. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, thank you. Anyone else under communications? Now we'll close that portion. Mr. Vanderpool, can we get some information about what's going on? What is happening at the senior center? I imagine they're playing pickleball in the gym area, is that right? And is it just open play time at the senior center? Scheduled time, okay, there's scheduled time, and does it require a lot of, does it require staff members to be at the senior center in order for, additional staff at the senior center for them to play pickleball? Mr. Vanderpool, do you know?
Mayor, I'd be happy to respond in a general sense. First, we understand the concerns expressed tonight. The Parks and Rec Director has met with Mr. Gonzalez. We've had listening sessions. We'll continue to have more. This is a pleasant problem to have. First of all, we do plan to continue to have pickleball at the senior center. It will be in a more limited fashion. That's why we built are building a new state-of-the-art pickleball facility. We will work out some of the nuances with respect to having an 80-year-old have to play with a 20-year-old or, vice versa. We'll work through those issues. We'll figure out, there's 9 courts there, by the way, at the new facility, one of which will be reserved for special type functions, such as senior play. So we're going to work through all this. Of course, all of our facilities have to require some staff oversight. Of course, I broached the idea with our Parks and Rec Director. Maybe we could just have it like there's a fitness center where you can go 24/7 and there's no staff in there. You get a key or a fob and you can go in 24/7. It probably isn't the best idea for a municipal facility. So we do need to have staff at our facilities for obvious reasons. I don't think I need to go into that. So, Mayor, we will work this out. I don't think everyone's going to be completely satisfied. One of the reasons we want to limit pickleball, some at the senior center, is because, believe it or not, there are many seniors that do not play pickleball and would like to see other activities in the gymnasium at the senior center. This has been requested for years, and we haven't been able to accommodate that because pickleball consumes or encumbers a lot of the use of the gymnasium. So we are working on this. We're well aware of the concerns. We'll continue to interact. There will be transparency. We're not trying to hide anything with this, but frankly speaking, the final design and shakeout of exactly how the new facility is going to operate day to day is still evolving. It's a work in progress. It'll be done by the time it opens. So, Mayor, that's all I can say at this point. Be happy to provide more details to the City Council from our Parks and Rec Director, but that is the macro viewpoint.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vanderpool. Mr. Koszybski, anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Council, any new business reports?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Yanis?
thank you. I'm going to just throw my 2 cents in with the, in regards to the pickleball. Like your father, I would appreciate the opportunity to whip the butt of a 20-year-old. I'm quite certain I could do it. However, you know, I'm sure between me and a 20-year-old, if anybody's gonna get injured, I would be the first in line. It really is a matter of, and, you know, maybe people just don't appreciate getting a little bit older. And, you know, the effort that it takes to do what you have, you know, to exercise and put yourself out there. And, you know, and sometimes when we get in situations, whether it's playing golf or tennis or any other sport, we sometimes think we're still 18 years old and we try to give it a little extra effort. If $10 million for a pickleball court, if we can't accommodate our senior citizens who've been paying taxes here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I don't know what we're gonna do. I feel like we should invest more money in the senior center, you know, maybe build an addition or something and just have senior pickleball. But the fact of the matter is, we need to figure this out. We need to make time for seniors so the senior league can play and make sure that our seniors are safe. And we need to make sure that that building is properly staffed, so if somebody does get injured, there's somebody there to take care of the situation. So I'm in complete agreement with these folks. That is not pandering. I'm 68 years old, so I'm one of you. And I completely get why you feel the way you do. And this is city taxation. Mostly, almost all of it is paid by you, the taxpayers, not the drop-in fees are gonna be literally a drop in the bucket. And we should be taking care of our citizens first, and that means our seniors first. So that's all I got to say, and I do want to say, Alicia, thank you for your words. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Yanis. Council, anyone else?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Schmidt?
First of all, I'm glad to hear that we're keeping some pickleball at the senior center because when the PPP millage was first presented, I didn't realize it was being eliminated until after it passed, and then I found that out. And I think Mr. Vanderpool and I have had discussions that I think it's important that we keep it there as well. If we're gonna do something north and south, then that's the perfect opportunity to keep things something in the north and also have it in the south. So I'm glad to hear that that's being worked out. And I'm hopeful that there will be a solution that you can never make everybody happy, but that there is an improvement of what the perception is of what's gonna happen over there. So, and as far as drop-in fees, you know what? If you go to Troy, you're gonna pay a drop-in fee there. So for someone to complain about our drop-in fees, I think we're probably more reasonable than a lot of other communities. So, that, it's only fair if you're, you know, our residents are paying, through their taxes that people from outside communities must pay a drop-in fee. So I have nothing further, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Anyone else?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Zarko?
Through the chair to Mr. Vanderpool, we're talking about having pickleball still at the senior center. Are we still going to have pickleball at the community center as well? Or is that all moving to the new facility?
Mr. Vanderpool?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Zarko, we're going to have pickleball continue at our facilities, including the many outdoor rinks that we have, or outdoor courts, I should say, that we have. You can't build enough pickleball, so it's not as though we're eliminating and consolidating everything into the center. We'll still have it in other locations. But again, the idea here too is to create other opportunities, even at the community center too. Pickleball's in high demand there as well.
Okay. And through the chair, again, this is another issue, is the one that Ms. Tuttle brought up. And do we have a limit as to how many food trucks that we can have on a Thursday night? And if there's more than fit on the amphitheater side of at the park, Are they, do we permit them where patios and pints are so that when people are looking for food there all the time as well as having their cocktail, is there, a chance that whatever would be convenient could come to the other side of the street so you could make more room for food trucks?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Zarko, it's a good question. There is no ordinance per se limiting the number of food trucks. However, it's a balancing act in terms of saturation and making sure that the food trucks that are there do well and that there's a demand for them. So it gets a bit diluted when you have more and more. So trying to find that sweet spot is always a challenge. But we certainly can add more, and we could add more to the patio and pint side of the aisle, if you will. And we're going to have an opportunity when you see the Sterling Fest layout this year too to add additional food trucks, or in this case, Kona Ice and the like. So there's going to be additional opportunity. Here again, this is another pleasant problem to have. Right. We're a victim of our own success in that there's such high demand for some of these amenities, but we can work on some additional trucks as well.
Okay. And lastly, we keep talking about the drop-in fees for non-residents. Do we still have the agreement with the city of Warren for our residents to be able to go there and use their facilities at resident rates?
Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Zarko, another great question. Yes, we do still have that. We're in the process of renegotiating that. So our residents get to use their aquatic facility at their resident rates. It's a significant savings. We save the cost of having to build a pool, which is millions and millions of dollars, mostly in operational costs after it's built. In addition, their residents can use some of our facilities and amenities at our resident rate. So it's a collaborative agreement, of course.
Okay, nothing further, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Zarko. Anyone, Mr. Radke?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, to the pickleball folks who are here. We are blessed that our residents, number one, supported Pathway to Play and Preservation. And one of the reasons for that initiative was the fact that we did not have enough space for all of the things that we want to provide for everyone. So I know there's a commitment, I'm sure, I'm going to speak for everyone up here, that we want everyone to find their place and their activity in Sterling Heights. There's never been an intention to eliminate anything. It's really about adding. We've been adding. So I'm sure we're going to figure it out. I have no doubt. I'm not worried. Pickleball is something that people are very passionate about, young folks and old. I heard it on the doors and I've heard it on the phones. And look, we want you to have playtime while balancing all the other activities in the city. Because one of the big complaints that we also get, I'll be frank, is that people say there's too much pickleball. I want my activity or my sport or my thing at the community center. And if you remember way back, we value engineered the community center. It was supposed to have 4 gyms. It has 2 because we had to save money all the way around. So it's one of those things that we are constantly adding, and we're going to continue to add. We want to provide the best activities, and I think we do, across the state of Michigan. And I'm sure we're going to accommodate you, and we're going to work this out. So I'm not too worried about that. Mr. Vanderpool has heard you, believe me. I see him writing down everything here. We can't go back and forth right now, sir. It's already over, but we can talk after the meeting. Secondly, to Ms. Toll, I appreciate your willingness to come to all these events. I know that many food trucks and many, they want to come where they're going to make the most money. And you want to be community oriented, and I appreciate that. Like Mr. Vanderpool said, we have just so many great activities, so many riches. I remember when we first talked about building what is now the ice rink / farmer's market. And there were people who had served on council, who were out in the audience, who said, we're going to build it and no one's ever going to show up. And they were completely wrong, like he is about almost everything he says.
Oh, shit.
So at the end of the day, those people are what was going to make your truck successful, excuse me. And I would say there are so many other activities where we could have your truck. It adds to the whole thing. We've talked about a snack stand in the past. We've talked about ways to bring people in. So I think that we have a commitment here that we're going to work with you and all the other people because it's that mix. Because I'll be honest, I go to Sterling Fest or I go to Thursdays in the park, and I don't always order the same thing. I don't always go to the same truck. It's a plethora of riches, right? That's what makes it a great city and a great event, because maybe you'll have barbecue this week, and maybe you'll have some of those really fresh donuts next week, that's for me. But it's tremendous, and thank you for your activities. I briefly want to touch upon the folks here who are about ICE. I appreciate you coming and sharing your viewpoint. I obviously don't share it. ICE shot a man down in cold blood in the street in Minneapolis, and that's unacceptable to me. They are,
We
ma'am,
didn't interrupt you guys. You can be quiet. Come on, show some decorum. I mean, you're not wild animals. You can keep quiet when somebody is saying something you disagree with. And as proof, I sat quietly while you spoke minute after minute after minute. So you can do it too, okay? If you want to be disruptive and just want to be loud and obnoxious, then go out there and do it. This is a public meeting. Mr. Radke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's unacceptable, and I personally believe that ICE is a danger to the community. It's a danger to lawful gun owners like myself, with the idea that somehow going about with my pistol on my person could make me a target. According to the President of the United States, who said this, he had a gun so he could be shot. And that's unacceptable to me. And my colleagues up here know, I carry my pistol. And that's unacceptable to me as a lawful gun owner in this country. Their activities are dangerous. They make the community feel unsafe. 1/3 of our community is foreign-born, whether it be legal, undocumented, but I'm not bearing the burden. These officers aren't asking me if I'm here, because I'm a white guy from Sterling Heights. But if I looked a different way or spoke another language like my grandfather did, maybe they'd stop him and say, how can you do things? I remember, this is such a dumb story, but my grandmother was born in this country on a family vacation. I have my citizenship because she was born premature in the United States. She was never intended to be an American citizen. So that's life. That's the Constitution of the United States. But the idea, my grandmother used to have so much trouble going across the border because we own property in Canada, because she moved back to Italy, where she was from. She lived there until she was an adult and moved back to the United States. And on the border guards used to always say to her, the CBP, they'd be like, where were you born? And she had a thick Italian accent. She'd say, Detroit. And I told her, no, ma'am, not where you live. Where were you born? And she'd go, Detroit. And they go, we need to get into, no, you don't need an interpreter. She's answering your question. She's just not what you expect. And I worry about that for so many citizens in our city, because 1/3 of our citizens are foreign-born. How are they going to be treated? Because even if they say, like my grandmother, I was born in Detroit, if they don't expect it or don't believe you, you're being profiled. And that scares the heck out of me. I want to keep our city safe. I'm proud to keep our city safe, and I will do it while I'm here. And one more thing, this is the policy-making body for the city. We make policy. We haven't changed our policy. We've clarified it. But if we change our policy, we will expect the city to carry out the policy of the city council. That is our role. That's why we were elected. So let's just be clear. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Radke. Mrs. Sarowski.
Thank you. To de-escalate this a little bit, I will come back to this, the police and ICE, but I want to say a couple of things. First of all, I don't know if many of you have played pickleball with my husband. I apologize to you now, because he's a little obnoxious. He thinks he's, the best. Oh, I know. But as a 64-year-old man, he is a senior and wants to make sure, and so I will get, and I think you've got pretty good confirmation that we're going to make sure that those that need special, just different categories because of safety, you have to have that. I don't want a kid playing with like a 7-year-old. Maybe they can start playing as a child, but they need to have the child's league. So that's just, it's good sense. I'm sorry that there's been a lot of rumors going around. There's a lot of misinformation, and that's not intentional. It's just as it's been said, it's a good problem to have that so many people are so excited, they're talking about it, and things just get lost in the translation. We will make sure that we will have dedicated times for the people that need categories. Yes, I agree that you should also we will work on making sure that we have different levels, because I don't want my husband playing with an 8-year-old. I don't want him to hurt her. So and he might, because he gets a little. Well, she might beat him too, and I'd be right there with her going, yeah. But he would never tell me. But anyway, we will work on that. So please be patient with us as we understand, and we definitely understand your needs. And I'm so glad to see all of you out here, because it's so great to have people, any group, so interested in what they're doing and making sure that they're a good voice. Kona Ice, yes, if we could, please, Mr. Vanderpool, find some way that we have not had Kona Ice. I'm lactose intolerant, I can't eat ice cream, so I'm looking for the Kona Ices, and I haven't seen them in city events very often, so we need more, and we need them often. So that's my personal, very, very personal plug for you guys. I wasn't sure if I was going to say anything about my support of the police and how things go, but I have to preface this with, first things first, I am always in support of our city police. They do such a good job when we induct new officers into our department. We're all here going, yes, thank you so much, good luck, you guys are the greatest. And I mean that because, you know, I'm sure my colleagues are going to roll their eyes because they hear this so often. But my son is a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps. His MOS, his military officer standing is that he's a military police officer. So he's one of the government officials. He is in charge of and does a lot of Homeland Security. He was in charge of the eastern border before he was transferred to a different position. So it is extremely important to me that we keep things safe, that we keep things done as we should. ICE is a division of the federal government, and for immigration, of course, nobody, I don't think anyone has said that kid, that ICU nurse, I'm a nurse, so I love nurses, deserved to be shot in the way and hurt in the way that he was. The same thing with the lady who was shot with her car. There's so many extenuating circumstances. Nobody that I know, pro-con, Republican, Democrat, wanted to see anybody shot like that. That's just painful to see. But we have to, and so there are issues that do need to be addressed in this department. I have to deal with my staff every single day. There's some things they don't do things right. We have to correct them. Doesn't mean my whole department is horrible or not doing it, but individuals do need to be held accountable, as I think. What I see with this, and what I'm going to just get on my soapbox even more, is that it sounds to me like they definitely, anyone who responds so agitatedly in an agitated and chaotic situation needs training. Military officers aren't allowed to do it. Police officers in cities aren't allowed to do it. We need better de-escalation training, not necessarily for the entire ICE, but certainly for some people who have shown tendencies not to be as calm and prepared as they need to be in those very intense situations. People are getting screamed at, whistles are being blown at them. And you have to you got to keep your cool, because that is your job. It's hard, and I can't imagine that happening. I'm not a police officer for that reason. But I do support the departments. I do support our alliances with federal government and all of the military and policing that we need to do. FBI, CIA even, DEA, we need those alliances and partnerships, not just to give our officers a job, but to coordinate with us on things that are big. And that our, drug cartels big drug cartels are not managed by Sterling Heights City Police. They're handled by DEA. So we do need our partnerships with that, and this is what I believe. I just believe that we need to not throw the baby out with that bathwater. There's always some things that need to be fixed. We need to fix them. We need to be that strong voice, and I do appreciate everyone who has a strong voice, Mayor Taylor included, because we do need, the louder we speak for doing things right, the more right will be done. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sarowski. Council, anyone else? Okay, so I think, as I hope you know, we hear you, we're listening to you, we're going to work on this. I don't mean to be flippant, but I'll be honest. I'd like to see how this plays out. I mean, I think we can put some things in place to begin with, but my feeling is we're probably going to need time to set aside for people in their 20s and 30s and 40s to play pickleball. Not time to set aside for senior citizens to play pickleball. I mean, I feel like the pickleball facility is going to be dominated by people who are senior citizens that are playing pickleball. It's just like I'm not going to be able to go play pickleball between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And a lot of people like that, I think that's our hope. My hope is that This is going to be a facility that caters to the needs of the pickleball community, which I know is diverse, but it's skewing towards, more towards seniors, I would say, than towards people in their 20s. So I'm optimistic that the pickleball facility is going to be regularly attended by seniors. It's going to be open, and that when seniors are there playing, there are going to be a lot of other seniors of similar abilities playing with them. And if that's not the case, I'd be very surprised. But my guess is that we can come up with a system that works to pair people, pickleball, like tennis, unlike golf, like I love to play golf. I can play golf with somebody who's really good at golf. As long as I play fast, they're not going to be upset that I'm not that good. Tennis and pickleball are different. I understand that. You have to play with somebody that's similar, a similar talent level. So I think those, from talking with, I'm telling you, my dad plays pickleball 6 or 7 days a week. He talks about it all the time. It's his number one hobby and pastime. So I've heard a lot about the facilities that work well and what they do and how they match players up of similar skills. So I think we can come up with a solution to that. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's keep the dialogue going and make sure that this works for you guys, because it's being built for pickleball players, to give the passionate pickleball players a place to play and feel comfortable. So I appreciate that. A couple things. I want to make something clear if I didn't already. My comments have nothing to do with the Sterling Heights Police Department. I mean, tangentially they do, and I'll explain that. I am not criticizing the Sterling Heights Police Department. I'm not criticizing the officers of the Sterling Heights Police Department. What I'm saying, and what I said at the last meeting, is I appreciate you coming up here with your ice hat on, I appreciate it. But you want to sit here and say, or stand here and say that they follow the law, they follow the Constitution. It's just, I don't know who you are. Sir, I don't know if we've ever met before, but what you're asking me to do is believe you over my own two eyes, and I'm not going to do that. I've seen hundreds and hundreds. Shut your mouth, man. I didn't interrupt you. Why do you feel like you can do it to me? I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos of ICE agents attacking helpless people, assaulting helpless people, violating their civil rights, their human rights, their constitutional rights. Yeah, God bless our Sterling Heights Police Department, because you want to know something?
This was given to me, who did the policing for these.
God bless you. God bless you. All right. Well, you're going to have another interaction with an officer soon. If you can't just be respectful and quiet. My problem with what I see from ICE agents is that they regularly violate human rights. They regularly violate constitutional rights. I can send you dozens of federal opinions from Republican judges and Democratic judges showing hundreds of violations of constitutional rights. It's happening every day. There's articles every day about how immigration judges are forced to release detainees by the dozens because they're holding them without charges, they're not getting due process, they're not getting their day in court. So all of these ICE raids that are going out, scooping up all these people indiscriminately, the government doesn't even have the facilities to hold them, and they're not charging them, they're not deporting them, and they're getting released right back out into the streets. So all of this is just spinning our wheels. For what? For chaos? For countless violations of human rights, civil rights, constitutional rights? They don't have the training that our Sterling Heights police officers have. They don't have the professionalism that our Sterling Heights police officers have. They've done more. ICE in 1 week violates more court orders than the Sterling Heights Police Department has violated in 58 years of existence. In 1 week, ICE agents commit more constitutional rights violations than 58 years of our Sterling Heights Police Department. So you want me to just say, let's welcome these people into our community with open arms and let them run roughshod over the 30 or 40,000 foreign-born residents that we have living here? No, thank you. No, thank you. And if you want to talk about children, I've got 3 children of my own, ma'am. I'm pretty well versed in what it takes to keep them safe, and I think I'm doing that. You want to talk about children? How about 5-year-old Liam Rojos, I believe his name was, Liam Ramos, who ICE agents snatched from his father, dangled as a carrot. You guys roll your eyes and laugh. I mean, it's fine if that's what you want to do. But you can't come up here and tell me you're serious about keeping kids safe when that kid was shipped off to Texas. For what? Detained and for no reason released, thank God, because the federal judge said, you're not doing this properly. You're not following the laws. You violated his constitutional rights. You violated his human rights, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. So unless federal immigration officers want to verify that they have the training, that they have the discipline, that they have the supervision, that they have the oversight, and that they have the policy directives that we can rely on so that if they're here operating in Sterling Heights, our residents are going to be safe, and the public doesn't have to be worried about being executed on the street. Being executed. Being executed. Nobody was run over.
My son was ran over by someone here illegally.
Well, thank God he's still alive. I'm glad he is. But again, you can't keep interrupting or else I'm going to ask you to leave. I'm going to wrap my comments up. Mr. Moffa, I have nothing to apologize for. I will not apologize. I'm proud of what I said. I stand 100% behind it. I won't retract it. And I don't care what it costs me. Doing what's right is always right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.